Hello, my name is Michelle Court, and this is my movie review on The Blind Side. So, just before we begin, here's some basic information about the movie The Blind Side. It was released in November 20th of 2009, published by the Warner Bros. Pictures. Director is John Lee Hancock, and the characters, or the main characters, I should say, because there's many more than what's just posted here, are Michael Orr, Leah Ann Tooney, Sean Tooney, S.J. Tooney, and Collins Tooney. And you can see a nice little photo of them off to the side there. Just a quick summary of the movie The Blind Side. So, The Blind Side follows the story of Michael Orr, who's a homeless black teenager who's just trying to survive and navigate life on his own. One night, when he's walking to the school gym in hopes of finding a warm place to sleep for that night, Michael crosses paths with the Tooneys, who are an upper class white family. And when they notice his situation, they invite him into their home. Over time, the Tooneys incorporate Michael into their family and lifestyle, offering him stability, support, and opportunities he's never had before. With that encouragement, Michael begins playing football and quickly becomes one of the most sought after high school prospects in the country, ultimately building a future for himself that he and many around him, including himself, never imagined possible. So, biases, prejudices, and discrimination that are seen in the movie The Blind Side. So, for biases, people often make judgments about Michael based on his appearance and background before they even get to know him. Society often treats his poverty and race as something that is shocking or unusual, and many people make assumptions about his abilities, behaviors, and future opportunities because of the way he looks and his background. For prejudices, teachers often assume that Michael isn't capable of doing well because of his past schooling and living situation. The Toonies friends question why the family would help someone like Michael. And Michael's challenges are often blamed on who he is rather than the barriers that he's faced. And then for discrimination, Michael is often treated differently because he comes from a low income neighborhood, and Michael has to work harder to prove himself in school and sports compared to other students because he simply looks different. Social change and advocacy in The Blind Side. So, the movie highlights the importance of equal access to education and opportunities for youth from disadvantaged backgrounds. It shows community involvement and compassion and how it can help break cycles of poverty and homelessness. It reflects on growing awareness around racial and class inequality in modern times. It promotes advocacy for youth in foster care and unstable living situations by encouraging support systems beyond just family members. It demonstrates how support programs can serve as pathways to education and personal growth. And lastly, it encourages social responsibility and how using privilege and resources can create positive change for others. Equity, diversity, and inclusion in the movie The Bright Side. So, for equity, the Tooney family gives Michael the same chances and opportunities as their own children, helping him with his schooling, providing him tutoring, and supporting his football goals, which really shows that equity and fairness throughout the film. For diversity, the movie brings together people from very different backgrounds. Michael from a poor neighborhood entitled Hurt Village, and the Tooneys from a very wealthy one. This shows how people from different races and lifestyles can still learn from each other and form meaningful relationships. For inclusion, Michael is welcomed into the Tooney family and treated as any other family member. He eats meals with them, celebrates holidays, and becomes a part of their daily lives. This shows the acceptance and belonging where he's included in family decisions and activities. Me and white supremacy connections. White saviorism. So, white saviorism is defined by when white people see themselves as the ones who need to save people of color instead of recognizing that those people already have their own strengths, abilities, and voices. This is something that we see in the movie through the character Leanne Tooney, as throughout the movie we see her trying to save Michael through doing things such as getting him his own personal tutor so that he can receive a football scholarship and improve his grades, adopting him so that he can get a driver's license and be able to drive and have that independence, and also wanting to buy him a new wardrobe when she sees the clothes that he does have and just doesn't think that they're good enough. Michael's identity and self worth are shaped through someone else's lens, aka the Toonies, and his personal power and independence are overshadowed, making it harder for him to fully connect with his own story and cultural roots. Racist stereotypes. So, racist stereotypes is defined by being harmful generalizations about racial groups that ignore individuality and reinforce prejudice. We see this a lot in the character Michael himself, as throughout the movie he's portrayed as a slow, needing guidance, and very quiet individual, but also in Michael's community, as it's called Hurt Village, and it's labeled as a very unsafe and broken place. It's also said in the movie that no white skinned individuals really go there because it's viewed as extremely negative location. These portrayals limit how Michael sees himself and how others see him, as they disconnect him from the pride in his background and create shame around his identity. Colorblindness. Colorblindness is defined by when a white skinned individual claims that they, quote, don't see color, which ignores the real experiences of racism and inequality. This is seen in the movie by the way the Toonies treat Michael as if race doesn't matter, saying he's, quote, part of the family. Although this is very heartwarming, this mentality really overlooks how race and class have not only shaped Michael's life, but will continue to shape his life and who he is. Ignoring race erases part of Michael's identity and prevents open conversations about his experiences and keeps him from fully expressing who he is. White centering. White centering is when white perspectives and emotions become the focus of stories about race, or in simpler terms, when white skinned individuals make situations for or about themselves. This is seen in the movie as it is told through the Toonies' viewpoint, specifically Leanne's viewpoint. We can also see this in the movie when Michael works hard to become a football star, but the Toonies strongly persuade him to go to the college Old Miss. This takes a major achievement and choice away from Michael, who comes from a difficult background and is a person of color, and makes it seem like it's partly their achievement instead of his. Because of this, Michael's voice is lost, his journey becomes someone else's narrative, which weakens his sense of belonging and self definition. Tokenism. Tokenism is defined by including a small number of people of color to essentially give the look that inclusion is taking place without actually addressing any deeper inequalities. This is seen in the movie when Michael is the only person of color not only in the Toonie social circle, but also in his high school as well. In the movie, it shows that Michael was only originally let into the school because the coach saw him and thought that because of the way he looked and because of his background, that he would be good at sports. Other teachers then agreed, and he was accepted into the school. Both before and after Michael's enrollment, the school said that it ran on Christian values and was very accepting to all, which is important to think about when you realize that Michael was only let into the school because of his physique and stereotypes. Michael's inclusion feels conditional, like it's accepted but not fully understood. This limits the ability to feel genuine belonging to cultural connection. In conclusion, I do think that the way these concepts were shown in the movie The Blind Side were very accurate and realistic. This assignment really made me watch this movie in a completely new, different light and really opened my eyes to a lot of different concepts that I never saw before when watching this. This movie is actually one of my favorites from when I was a lot younger. And I think now watching it as I'm older and I've gone through the course and I've gained some of this knowledge, it's really made me confront a lot of my past biases that I didn't even know I had, which is really, really great and really cool. I think if I were to say a specific group that should be watching this movie, I think everyone should really watch this movie at least once, just because it has so many intricate aspects that I think a lot of people would really, should see and learn from. But if I had to choose a specific group, I would definitely say anyone who's really working in social services, who deals with people with a multitude of different individuals with unique backgrounds and experiences. I just think this film really is eye opening and shows needed perspectives and would be, very beneficial for everyone to at least see once. So, thank you for listening.